Tull, one of the leading rock groups of the 80s and the past decade. Since its beginning in 1967, Jethro Tull has survived endless personnel changes through the leading force of its only remaining original member, Ian Anderson.
You know, is all this a great barrel of fun and a lot of laughs? And the answer is no. I mean, it's hard work. There are the pressures of travelling if you don't enjoy flying, which terrifies me now. And there are a lot of aspects of it that, you know, are less than agreeable. But the important thing that I have to remember, and the people who come to see us, this is the 2 hours up there on the stage behind us that matter to them and actually have to matter to us too. So the rest of the day, although it has its ups and downs, and there are days when you feel like you wish you were, you know, back home staying in bed late or something. I mean, that happens to everybody. Whatever you do for a living, everybody has a Monday morning syndrome, you know, when they just tear their hair out and say, I can't go to the office today, you know. Sometimes I say, I can't go on the stage today, but, you know, 5 minutes before showtime, that's what I do. That's my job. You know, it's okay. Once I'm up there, it's fine. Do you believe me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Now, you've seen a lot of changes over the years. What is different now in the industry as compared to, like, 10 years ago?
Well, the biggest single change is the dreadful influence that economics have to bear on the ultimate shape and form of the music that you hear. Because 10 years ago, there was a great deal more flexibility and freedom, both in radio programming and in terms of record company policy as to what they would take a chance on, because the profit margins were higher. Simple as that. There wasn't quite the same desperate competition that existed between artists, between record companies, you know, for a limited number of dollars that were available to be spent on, quotes, product. Whereas now, there is less money in people's pockets, and a record is more of a luxury item. So I think that now has reflected itself in a sort of pushing together of musical styles and musical tastes, so that what gets most programming in terms of radio play is that sort of top 40-ish kind of format, or MOR sort of format, and you don't get the same absurd extremes occurring, which were very beneficial to music as a whole. You know, when you had really strange and odd kinds of music coming up, which were, I mean, it's a healthy thing. You know, people are able to experiment, even though it maybe loses money. The record companies didn't mind then losing money on a few acts as long as the whole thing kept going.
Do you have any personal philosophies that you try and live by?
Yeah, but it sounds silly, so I won't tell you. No, I mean, I'm a sort of a moralist, actually. You know, in fairly traditional terms, but I don't. Not as a sort of an allegiance to any particular religion, or even a tremendous feeling of responsibility to one's fellow man in society. I mean, I'm just a moralist in as much as it makes common sense to me, you know, to try and be a decent sort of a person. So I don't go out of my way to make trouble. I don't throw television sets into the pool when I stay in a hotel, because it might land on somebody's head or it'll upset the manager. It's not necessarily that it's not strictly moral, because basically what I want to do if I like the hotel is go and stay there again next year when I come into town. So that's what I mean about it being common sense. It's just nice to avoid the aggravation of being a bad guy, you know. And if all the bad guys thought like that, we'd all be good guys, and we'd all be having a very happy time together.